Well, listen, these poems are horrible that I'm going to read, and so you can leave saying, you know, first of all, my first poem that I'm going to read is about, like, my favorite lover, Wallace Stevens. And this reading, I really want to thank someone who's in the audience, Jane Freud, who is our lawyer. She's Vida's lawyer, and we're basically, I'm not going to go on like at length about this, but basically we were like, let's file for none of this. It's okay, it's privileged and confidential. I started to put privileged and confidential at the end of my emails for a little while because I was so into it. But anyway, they've saved our asses on many occasions. And I want to thank Ann Townsend, who just read, because she is our treasurer. And I can barely add and or subtract, and so she, you know, she came through. She took control. So the first poem, and also Erin Belieu and Susan. Erin actually had the kindness. I mean, it's sort of amazing, and I actually feel like Erin nicknamed me Huggy Bear during this trip, which is of course a joke. But I felt like I really want to actually strangely hug a bunch of these readers, because I feel like we're not just a community of writers, like female writers who are interested in talking about writing, but we're also, there's so many amazing writers that I've been really amazed by this reading, and I'll keep this brief. So this is, I'm going to title this poem "Another Weeping Woman," which those poets out there who know Stevens will know that there's a sort of condemning poem by Stevens called that. There's 2 parts. 1. Found your book by my bed, Wallace Stevens. Woke to a chasm between me and my kitchen. I, and never again. When me made him eggs to watch him shovel said eggs in his mouth. When me spread my pretty black fan of hair beneath my sleeping head on this very pillow, Wallace Stevens. Do you think it was the awfulest of my problems? I can't even own my own poems, said the man to the man. Or I'm a second citizen in my own poems, this something that was once called me. And had a big problem. Found what might be referred to as my affections lacking. Those certain affections, they laid their tenuous plats, their creaking bridges. Or can I admit, Wallace, that me has done wrong, moreover, that wrongs have been done to me? I am cold, and when I woke, I, never again. And the pretty black fan of my hair was cut off by, was gone, and this by my own hand. 2. Wallace Stevens, I got problems. I don't even own the very poem I'm in. I'm a second-class citizen in my own poem, and I've got you to blame. I have you, and ought I not find you to be a sympathetic friend? Perhaps you probably know the very predicament I'm in. I got problems, I'm cold. Wallace Stevens, you have more rights to this poem than I do, and I'm just plain sad. I turned the air conditioner off. It's 2:55 a.m. You are my favorite new boyfriend. Back then, my hair spread its black, its pretty fan out under my sleeping head, sleeping on this very pillow back when I wasn't meeting his needs. I have all sorts of problems you'd think very little of, Wallace Stevens. I woke up with a knife in my head. I woke up with your book lying beside my bed. Goes on and on and on. This poem is called Poetry Machines. Poetry Machines. I saw your new... Poetry Machines. I saw your new book today, just after I saw your new book. The day after I saw your last new book. It kind of looks like all you do is write books. It kind of seems like a grows out your mouth each day, on the bus, on the subway, in your bed, in the germs you spread when you forget to cover your mouth while coughing. And it kind of seems like you got locked in your office some kind of automatic poetry machine. Out your ears, daffodils and smokestacks, or out your nose, a poetry balloon grows. Out your eyes, an odd image is cast, a wolf's head consuming an ice cream cone. It seems like this is poetry. What am I coming to poetry for? A gnat sunk in a bowl of milk? I did not know I wished to relive with you that morning you sat across a table. from your father in 1978. He took his coffee black. He will, in a later poem, have you working on the car out back. A bolt falls from the underbelly to plink into a dish like a tooth extracted. This is a metaphor. We need more cold sores, need more of what you won't give us. Give us some true ugliness. Your books arrive annually, slick events appearing like the latest model of car. It would seem you do not consider the writing of poetry very hard. Couple swan and cell phone, pair two paralytic kids in wheelchairs, hand the sharp light from hospital windows back to them. Descend an imaginary ladder, climb link by link down from the window of your tiny apartment. March near your local bookstore and demand to know why they aren't carrying your latest volume. Shoot the cashier with your poetry gun. I have a few high school poems, and that's going to be it. I actually have like a few high school poems, and then a poem that I think will make a little bit of sense. I went to China a few years ago on this academic trip, and I've never actually read any of the poems that I'm reading you right now. To anybody. This is called High School in Suzhou, which is I visited a high school in China. They play ping pong. They are all boys. No, they play it ceaselessly in a vast gymnasium. They will not stop, not to look at us who watch, visitors from the West. They will not untie the eye from the tiny ball. The principal, salamandered slick hair, is above us and deems us not worthy to speak to. He is not the one to lead us to the mentholated room, inside which plexiglassed haze cages cast stiff leopards, so frankly dead their fur looks as if it will fall out, like so much something from the stroke of our glance. I have to pee. In the girls' room I squat where hundreds of girls have squatted. I'm like, they have not our fine thrones in China. It will go on and on out into the river, the glass and aquarium bus we live our lives in, air-conditioned past the poor. We will leave the high school and all of our lives. It will be deposited into the river, my pee, right? And the bus will let us out at another garden, the garden of the master of nets. I have my own garden, the garden of spitting up. In high school, I nearly coughed my lungs out. Relentlessly, the leopard sheds its skin. In the audience of children nearing adulthood, they play ping pong. The master of endless failures. The master of nothing in particular. The master of pretending to pass as a phrase left, a cork in a garbage can. High school was us and we. We learned our grammar there. Became devised while bells sawed halls sharp as number 2 pencils. Some grew thin, grew dark as men in its hallways, grew up on men, our breasts, their beards, our breasts, while we cracked open beer cans in the girls' room, swung down foam minutes before walking in the homeroom. I was known to be dumb, detentioned, a kill-myself kind of girl, but it was you who shot herself in the head. What kind of girl shoots herself in the head? You want a quality kill? Take some sleeping pills and spare your mother blood grief. You always took a hit for me, turned around in your seat. Did you hear what they said? Yes, some of us are intending to go to college. Loser grief. But the tarry black of the hot parking lot, the promise of a boy face bent the crack against the face that was becoming a face. We wanted only what all of us wanted, unequal, pretty, which then meant famous. High school lovers. Let's walk this prickly path, tear our ankles among the tangles, rip our ankles with the straps of pretty shoes and after-school six-packs, licking out the insides of one another's pink cat mouths. Once, when skipping class, I read 5 novels. Every single one was bare, pages scribbled with the barest bit of new man hair. It was homework. You might be lucky enough to end up my science. I had to know what a blowjob was. Too bad you couldn't have been the one around. The one who never considered writing a novel. But it was good, the motoring days, the sense of time itself passing away, dropped into a vial, its crushed powders, and power in the walk one took down the syringe hollow halls. And was. I never said it was the best time of my life, because it wasn't. I can remember nothing but feeling sharp-eyed and puzzled, and that a kiss was good as a newspaper headline. The time I saw you in the parking lot in front of the imbecile pink building, I said, let's go. And off we went, darlings, sleek with youth, temperamental as cats, the afternoon wide open as our mouths before us. This is my last poem, and it's kind of like about being rejected, right? Somehow this like tied in somehow. Anyway, it's called A Catalog of Lures. I think it's because Erin was, I read it to Erin, she was like, no one's ever admitted this pathetic a situation before, you know?